Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe. So I took a couple of days off. To me, boxing news was kind of slow. You know, it's been a lot of talks about the whole Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder thing. And Eddie Hearn had that interview where he got caught up in so many lies. And then the numbers came out for Deontay Wilder, comparing his numbers to Anthony Joshua. Like, it's been some news about Robert Easter and Mikey Garcia potentially fighting. So it's been, different things going on, but nothing really stood out to me that I really wanted to talk about until I saw this video on Dante's Boxing Nation yesterday. Shout out to Dante. When they, in a post-fight, Shawn Porter was asked a question about, like, why is he so reluctant to discuss the whole Errol Spence fight. Porter said something to me that bothered me so much. First thing he said is Errol Spence is the IBF champion, and he's 3 years past that. And then he said Errol Spence is on the other side. Now, this is what's bothering me about all of that. First thing first, I want to start with the whole Errol Spence being on the other side. Last I checked, Shawn Porter and Errol Spence both are PBC fighters. Both advised by Al Heyman. He's not on the other side, bro. He's in a 147-pound welterweight division just like yourself. You guys couldn't get any closer. You couldn't get any closer. I don't even remember where I saw it, but I saw somewhere that Shawn Porter put the order of fights that he wanted, and it was like Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, and then Errol Spence. And then the comment of him being 3 years past the whole IBF route. Now, this is the shit that doesn't make sense to me. And this is the stuff that pisses me off, and it has me revisiting this whole Shawn Porter, Errol Spence situation over and over again. And it's like bothering me, and it's getting kind of repetitive. And I feel like soon I'm just gonna stop talking about it. I just want to keep bringing it up, and maybe it'll spark the ear of someone else, and somebody get these actual questions to Shawn Porter. First thing first, being 3 years past it, like, bruh, you lost your belt to Kell Brook. You lost your belt, and now you keep on saying you're 3 years past it, but you lost your belt. My thing is, it doesn't make sense to go after a belt that you never had over and over again with Keith Thurman, because backtrack. It doesn't make sense to go after a fighter you already lost to. Keith Thurman was just the WBA champ at the time when they fought, and then Keith went on to unify with Danny Garcia. Like, I understand Shawn keeps saying that he's on the WBC route, but last I checked, if you stay undefeated, none of that changes. Like, you don't lose your position in the WBC by fighting Errol Spence for his title if you win. Like, at that point, you become a unification. You're put in a position where Thurman can have no excuse under any circumstance not to fight you. Because if Thurman becomes injured again, he may possibly receive another exemption. Or if Thurman chooses that he wants to unify, guess what? Unification trump mandatory, Shawn. So the whole thing of let me go back to the whole thing of Shawn Porter saying he's 3 years removed. Like, you lost to Brook. Okay, the IBF took you off the rankings. You're pissed off about it. You're upset. Like, I've said it before. Like, okay, Shawn, that's not stopping you from fighting Errol Spence. You can definitely take the Canelo route. You can fight this guy. You can give the IBF the finger and say, I don't want your title. I'm about to go fight Keith Thurman. Whoever else picks up that IBF title after me is the paper champion. Everyone knows I'm a real champ. Cool. You can take that route. Or you can fight Errol Spence. You can take the belt. Like, be a professional. Like, this emotional reaction doesn't make sense to me. But another thing, a point that somebody pointed out to me, about Shawn Porter is Shawn Porter is like handling this thing when it comes to Errol Spence like he's some type of A level fighter, and he's really not. Like, honestly, he's like B minus. And I say that because every step up fight, his big fights, he lost. You know, he lost his title to Kell Brook, but then Kell Brook went on. He fought a couple of fights. He fought Triple G. He lost to Triple G or whatever. But when he went back down to welterweight, he lost to Errol Spence. I'm trying to figure out. You trying to make it. Shawn keeps floating the word irrelevant around Errol Spence's name. He's not necessarily saying that he's irrelevant, but he keeps having that round floating around Spence's name. And my thing is like, how can you even create this thought in your mind that Errol Spence, his relevancy can even be questioned? Like, this man beat the man that took your belt. Like, at no point in time you should question Errol Spence when it comes to him being a welterweight. He beat the man that beat you. And then another point that was made that was an extremely good point for me. When Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter fought, Keith Thurman fought Shawn Porter coming off of his whole car accident thing. Now, we all question Keith Thurman when it comes to his injuries or whatever the case may be, but Keith Thurman is still undefeated. So I'm going to give this man the respect that he deserves and say, I'm not going to call him a liar unless proven guilty. So you're innocent until proven guilty in my book, unless, like, you know, some blatant evidence and people are just ignoring it, whatever. Shawn Porter lost to Keith Thurman that was coming off of an injury, coming off a long layoff and an injury. So I'm like, if I'm going to criticize, you know, fighters like Anthony Joshua for fighting an old man Klitschko coming off a loss and an extremely long layoff, I got to criticize Shawn Porter for fighting the man that came off an injury and you lost to him. Yeah, some people say, you know, it could have been close, but in my book, you know, Shawn Porter, he definitely lost that fight. And it's just like, it bothers me so much even more because you say you want to fight the best, and then, like, it would make a little bit more sense, even though it would still bother me, but it would make a little bit more sense if he was saying, you know, I want to fight Keith Thurman, I want the WBA title, and I want that WBC strap, then I want Errol Spence immediately after. If Shawn Porter was saying that, you know, I could put a little bit more respect on his name. But you want to throw Danny Garcia in the middle. What does Danny Garcia bring to this table? Like, he already lost to Thurman. Why would you fight the man? Let's say, hypothetically, Shawn Porter beats Keith Thurman. Why would you want to fight the man that already lost to the guy that you just beat? Like, that makes no sense. It makes no sense to beat Keith Thurman and then go fight Danny Garcia when he lost to Keith Thurman. We all know Danny Garcia is not about to fight anyone of any type of relevance in the welterweight division. Now, if Danny Garcia decided that he wants to go fight Terrence Crawford and he knocks off Terrence Crawford, something that would not happen, then I get it. I will understand why Shawn Porter would want to fight Danny Garcia. But Danny Garcia is going to fight the Brandon Rioses of the welterweight division and whoever else. He probably mess around and fight Jeff Horn after he loses to Terrence Crawford. It makes no sense for Shawn Porter to want Danny Garcia so bad when you have another guy in your division. You want to fight the best now. The best. Now, you know, on paper, let's take all of our opinions to the side. When it comes to accomplishments, Keith Thurman is the number one welterweight. He is the best welterweight. He's currently the most accomplished welterweight. We get that. Now, if you beat Keith Thurman, if you want to fight the best, fighting the best is fighting Errol Spence. At that point, he will be the second most accomplished welterweight behind you. You know, if you beat Keith Thurman. So this whole narrative about wanting to fight the best, like, it's very bothersome to me. And it's not even consistent. Like, saying that you want the top guy, saying that you want to go the WBC route, I get it. Okay, this man has 2 straps. But where does Danny Garcia play into this? Because, like, and I know in another interview, Kenny Porter said that Shawn said that, that Danny said that Shawn Porter is tailor-made for him. Like, oh, so that's what it takes? It takes a guy to say that Shawn Porter is tailor-made for them, for you to want to get in the ring, and you have this relentless approach? Or is it the fact that Danny Garcia seemed like he's an easier opponent compared to an Errol Spence Jr., and that's a safer route? Like, come on, man. Like, we all like to point out all the inconsistencies when it comes to other guys in boxing, but it's really bothering me, and I really feel the need that I have to focus on this whole Shawn Porter thing so much, because I respect the Porters as men. First of all, I respect them as men. I respect their father-son relationship, even though sometimes certain things that Kenny does, especially when he interrupts Shawn to answer questions that were directed to Shawn, like, that shit bothers me, but it is what it is. That's none of my business. But when it comes to strictly boxing, like myself and plenty of other people, I'm sure they had the belief that Shawn Porter would be willing to fight anyone at any time. I believe this man had no fear in his blood. He had the heart of a lion. It was no excuses. If you call him out, he gonna get in the ring and he gonna beat that ass. It's that simple. That's the way I saw Shawn Porter. Now, all of these Errol Spence talks started coming around, and I started slowly noticing all the ducking and dodging from Shawn, and like, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I wish I didn't have to continue to revisit this topic, but Shawn Porter, Kenny Porter, Team Porter, they're definitely disappointing right now. Like, if anything, guys, if you're going to try to bullshit the fans, at least be consistent with your bullshit. Like, don't say you want to fight the best, and then if you beat Keith Thurman, you want to fight Danny Garcia. Like, that's not fighting the best. Like, Danny Garcia he's not even a proven welterweight. I mean, he beat Paulie Malignaggi and Robert the Ghost Guerrero, a guy that ended his career on some horrible notes, losing some fights that most people believe that he shouldn't have lost. But the Porters are going to try to stay to their guns. Now they're going to try to say that the hand is broken and they can't come back. But I guarantee you, if Keith Thurman has some type of miraculous recovery and said that he has some tune-up and he say he's ready to go, Shawn Porter will have some type of speedy recovery as well and make sure he gets that Keith Thurman fight. But I just want somebody to ask Shawn Porter these questions. One, what does Danny Garcia have to do with fighting the best if you were to beat Keith Thurman? Two, if Keith Thurman was to fight his tune-up fight and then decide to fight a unification, since we all know unification trumps mandatory, what are you going to do in that situation? Three, why can't you fight Errol? If you truly believe that you can beat Errol Spence, well, first, do you believe you can beat Errol Spence? If yes, if you believe that you can beat Errol Spence, why not fight Errol Spence? Because you want to fight the best. He's the current best actively fighting non-injured welterweight in the division right now. So if you want to fight the best, why not fight Errol Spence now? If you have beef with the IBF, then why not pull a Canelo, beat Errol Spence, not accept the title, and then fight Keith Thurman? Or take the title and put yourself in a position where Keith Thurman can't duck you. At the end of the day, Shawn Porter, you can do whatever. You can use whatever you want as a bargaining chip, especially if you work out some type of deal with the WBC and you talk to them, you have your advisor speak with them and let them know. It's like, if I beat Errol Spence, if you're gonna make me Keith Thurman's mandatory, guarantee if I can keep that spot, I won't accept it. But if I can't keep that spot after this fight or for whatever reason, then I'm going to maintain my IBF title and I'm going to try to unify. It's that simple. I mean, getting the IBF title and beating Errol Spence is just an additional bargaining chip. And if you're about the money, beating Errol Spence puts you in a position to get more money. But if anybody ever has an interview with Shawn Porter Kenny Porter, Those are the 4 questions that needs to be asked to these guys. It's Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm out.